I just couldn't resist doing this makeup. One side is very expensive and the other side is bougie on a budget. I want you to watch the video and you decide which side is which. Can you tell from just looking at me here? Let's get started with this makeup look. One side is using drugstore and one side is using high-end makeup, which is 4 times more expensive. To be fair, I used the same eyelid primer on each eye, and then I'm using different setting powders on each eye as well, high-end and drugstore. And I wanted to see if it made a difference when I'm applying my eyeshadow. Here I'm applying foundation on one side of my face. I did not use any primer. I just wanted to see how it felt when I put it on and how it blended in. I'm also using the same type of for blending. I'm trying to keep it apples to apples on both sides, and sometimes I can't do that because I do not have 2 of every brush, but I did try and make sure that on the face products, I'm using brushes that are as close as possible. And this blends in really nice on this side of my face. I think you will agree. Let's apply foundation on this side of the face. And I found that it was hard to get an exact match in color to the first side, but hopefully that will all work out once I add bronzer, blush, and you won't be able to tell the difference. I think both sides are starting to look really good. Can you already tell the difference between side A and side B? I'm just curious if you think there's a difference already in the foundation. Let me know. Next up is the eyeshadow, and I have to say it was a struggle to find eyeshadows that looked exactly the same, but I will tell you that the drugstore eyeshadow palette had probably 12 different colors in it, and then the high-end eyeshadow palette only had 4 colors in it. So I had to be a little creative on both sides to make sure that it looked right, but I think you'll see in the end it actually looked okay. My main takeaway with this eyeshadow look is that there was a lot of blending involved. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. It took probably 15 minutes to really get the eyes to match up, and because one side always wanted to be a little darker than the other side. And of course, I use my beloved shimmer on both sides, and I always think that that gives the eyes such a beautiful pop. And here I go again, blending. And for what it's worth, I have 4 of these blending brushes, so I wasn't using the same brush on each eye. And as you can see, the colors are starting to look identical on both eyes. And yes, here I am applying a little bit more brown, but you'll see me do that. I'll go back and forth as I'm really working hard to try and get both eyes to match. And yes, I'm adding more brown to this side. It seems like one eye blends out much lighter than the next one. And of course, I'm adding brown eyeshadow underneath the lower lash line because it's so much softer than adding a waxy eyeliner. Now it's time for some concealer, and I'm only using my fingers to apply these products because I don't want you to see the tubes that I'm using because it will give it away right off the bat. And of course I am using my beloved A506 concealer brush, and again I have 4 of these brushes, so I am not mixing the products on both sides of my face. The concealer does blend well on this side of the face. Let's see how this side compares to the other side. And again, using my fingers so you can't see the tube, and I always apply my concealer with fingers first. I feel like the heat from my fingers and the heat on my skin really helps the product to blend in beautifully. FYI, I am doing my brows and mascara off camera because the tubes would have given away which side is which. I love using bronzer, and again, I applied everything with my fingers so that you wouldn't see the tubes, but I had to do my forehead off camera. But here you can see that one side is applying beautifully, and guess what? I forgot and used the same brush on this side of my face, but it's okay. Both sides are blending in beautiful, and as always, I use my fingers on my nose because I think it's a much easier application and it blends in beautifully. All in all, I think the bronzers really did a pretty job. Both of them are nice, both are creamy. They're a little bit different in their color, but that's okay. I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference. I'm using powder bronzer to set that cream bronzer on both sides of my face. Drugstore on one side, high-end on the other. I love how soft this brush is, and it really does help with blending. Let's move to the second side, and here I am using a different brush, different brand even, and I am applying the powder bronzer on top of the cream bronzer. I just find that it helps to set the product, and it does look beautiful. Blush was a real issue. I should have stopped here, but I didn't. I felt like I needed more color, and boy did I bark up the wrong tree. And then I had to add more on this side to even up on the other side. And ladies, let me tell you, I was the blending queen. The color is pretty darn similar. But again, I am using a great brush to blend it in. And in the end, it looked okay. Using a little liquid highlighter on both sides, and I'm not a big highlighter person, but I had it in my stash and I decided why not? Let's see how it looks on both sides, and I'm gonna let you be the judge because I think one side is a lot more prominent than the other side. I did my lips off camera, but look how close they look. And I am going to pin in the comments later today which side is the high end. Tell me in the comments below which side you think it is.